few things may come to mind when I say Rastafari. Probably thought of Rasta caps, dreadlocks, Bob Marley, reggae music, and of course marijuana. While many of these items are signature Rastafarian things, most people don't know why, or don't know the history behind these items, or the way of life, as Rastafarians call it. I decided to research the Rastafarian religion and the connections it has to all these things. So today we're going to look at what Rastafarianism is, the origins of Rastafarianism, and what Rastafarianism has connections to marijuana, music, and more. First, let's define what Rastafarianism is and what they believe. According to the Columbia Electronic Encyclopedia, Rastafarianism is a religious cultural movement that began in Jamaica in the 1930s, in which followers believed that Haile Selassie, aka Rastafari, is the Messiah. Rastafarians tend to stay away from the idea that they're actually a religion or an ism, as they can view it as derogatory, and they prefer to call it a way of life. Rastafarianism is, however, a religion as considered by the rest of the world, and they accept much of the Bible, but believe the message is corrupted. Rastafarians reject a materialistic and oppressive society. They label societies with those things Babylon. On the other hand, Zion is a reference to Ethiopia, and is the promised land, and is believed that the Messiah will restore it to its glory and reunite all followers there. Now let's take a look at the origins of Rastafarianism. According to BBC News on the Rastafarian religion, Rastafarianism began back in the 1930s when political leader Marcus Garvey prophesied the crowning of a black king will redeem and unify all Africans. Garvey was considered the founder and prophet of the religion. Next, the crowning of Haile Selassie I in Ethiopia in the 1930s was the fulfillment of Garvey's prophecy. Rastafari then became the Messiah of the religion. The first branch of Rastafarianism was created in 1935 by Leonard P. Howell. Howell preached the divinity of Haile Selassie, or Rastafari, and how blacks would gain superiority over whites had always been intended for them. Helene Lee, author of The First Rasta, Leonard Howell and the Rise of Rastafarianism, talks about how Howell was ridiculed and jailed. However, he still managed to establish a 4,500 member Rasta community, which assisted the impoverished in the local area. Rastafari was removed from power in 1974, which was the next major event on the Rastafarian timeline. He was removed from power by Marxist revolutionists, and he later died the next year. His overthrow by an atheist political group, as well as his death a year later, was a major blow to the religion and Rastas all around the globe. This undermines suggestions that he was anything more than a human representation of God. Now we can look at some things closely associated with the religion. Let's start with music. Reggae music, which became global around the 60s and 70s, is strongly linked to Rasta religion and lifestyle. It is a form of Rastafarian preaching, used to help spread religion or to accompany prayer and worship. Bob Marley was a huge vessel for this, and he was known to be an avid follower of their religion. Now on to the marijuana, which I'm sure everyone wants to hear about. Guntar's Reeboks states in his article, Rastafarians, the Misunderstood Revolutionaries, that many Rastas use smoking cannabis as a spiritual act which heals and cleanses the mind, body, and soul. This act usually precedes a Bible study or prayer. And on a side note here, they view the illegalization of marijuana around the globe as a form of religious persecution. The signature Rasta hairstyle with the dreadlocks also has meaning associated with it. The lengths of the locks can represent the age of the individual, as well as the time the individual has been a Rastafarian. They can also be seen to measure the wisdom, maturity, and knowledge. The colors of green, gold, and red and black, usually found on the Rasta caps, also have ties to Rastafarian history. These are the colors of the Ethiopian flag and show loyalty to Rastafari himself. In conclusion, we looked at what Rastafarianism is and what its followers believe, the origins of Rastafarianism, and the connections between Rastafarianism, music, and marijuana. Now, I hope next time you hear a Bob Marley song or hear mention of the Rastafarian religion, you think deeper, past all the misconceptions, stereotypes, and what it truly means to be a Rastafarian. Hopefully, you can take some of the Rastafarian ideas or lifestyle choices and apply them to your own lives.